Welcome back to Call Me By Your Game, the podcast where I, your host Connor McCabe, bring on a guest to hear from them about a meaningful or memorable video game from a particular moment in their life. This is a podcast about what makes video games special to different people, and oftentimes it's about more than just the game, although it'd be really funny if today it had nothing to do with the context. Well, I guess we'll see. A little bit of housekeeping up top is that anything that my guest or I plug on the show today, you'll be able to find a link to that in the show notes. So whether someone plugs another podcast or a social media handle, if you scroll down in the show notes, you'll find those links nice and organized. And for us on the podcast, for Call Me By Your Game, check us out on Patreon. We just started I guess the week this episode comes out, our Death Stranding 2 Games Club is going to start airing on Friday, July 11th. So if you're playing that game and you want to follow along as we go through this insane adventure chapter by chapter, that is available at the DJ Toad tier on our Patreon. And if you want to check out our past series, if you want to still support us in some way, but you're like, I'm not giving this freak money, check out our free feed at Super NPC Games Club, wherever you listen to podcasts. Currently, our Mass Effect Games Club from early 2024 is there. And you'll find those in the show notes as well. But that'll do it for the housekeeping, and I'll introduce our guest for today's podcast. So please welcome to the microphone actor and business enthusiast Kylie Brakeman. Kylie, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Connor. And I am a business enthusiast. I'd love to just get that right out the gate. I love capitalism. I love commerce, the exchange of money between hands. It's a beautiful thing.
You really strike me as someone who is just adores the free market. Is that fair?
Oh, I adore it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I don't know so I logged onto my Chase bank account earlier, and they added a new thing that says your estimated net worth, which
what?
It's never said before. And the number really hurt my feelings.
Oh. You're like, this better not be searchable on the internet.
I don't want you guys telling me this. This makes me feel bad.
Yeah, gosh. I wonder what's the thought there? Is the thought, hey, you could be doing a lot better. I'm going to shame you into raising this net worth?
Yeah, I don't know if it's like pull yourself up by your bootstraps, or like all of our customers, if you're using the Chase Bank app, you're probably rich. You're probably going to want to see that number. But for the rest of us, it's making... I kind of thought I was doing better than what it told me. But no, they're like, you're living on a razor's edge. I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, great. And that's good.
That's awesome.
This may cause me to never open up the app again and just get a bunch of late fees for the few things I use on this Chase Sapphire Preferred card that I almost never use now. I wonder how they even... I don't need to belabor the point any longer, but I wonder how they even do that, or calculate this.
Yeah.
I know that... Go ahead.
No, it's like they can't see everything.
Yeah.
There's money in other secret places. They don't know where my $1,000 in cash that I have stuffed in one drawer in my house is.
Yes. Yeah.
They don't know about that.
Estimator.
So take that.
I know that I have kind of a fancy thing about me is I have an American Express card.
Oh.
So kind of in an elite camp of millions of Americans who do, but that continues to ask me to update my income information, and I kind of just never do it. Why do they need to know?
I don't. If you're paying,
yes.
What more do they need to know?
It's not like I'm telling Covered California how much I make so that they can calculate what I should be paying for healthcare. This is
right.
I think that maybe that's why they do it, but. Anyway, that is if that's not an icebreaker, I don't know what is, Kylie.
I don't know what is.
Yeah,
let's
truly.
talk credit cards right out the gate.
I love it.
No weather, let's get to credit card.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, that's going to be my new thing when I talk to someone and don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I'm stealing it.
Hey, how much money do you have?
Yeah.
Be specific.
Yeah, so what is Chase telling you? I'm so excited to have you on the show today. You and I know each other pretty much how I know the majority of the guests on this podcast, which is through the Los Angeles comedy community around improv and sketch, through UCB. Although, and I truly would love for you to shed some light on this because I can't tell you exactly when this would have happened. I don't I'm pretty sure that we didn't meet until after the pandemic, once I started working on your podcast, but that may not be true. Do you have am I forgetting some amazing memory that I should know?
Oh my God. April 15th, 2019. We were...
Oh my God.
I'm shocked you don't remember this. No, I think you're right. I think we didn't meet in person until post-pandemic. You edit our pod.
Yes.
A little behind the scenes, behind the curtain info. But I feel the same way about this where with a lot of people in the LA comedy community where like I was in it for like a year and then the pandemic hit and I couldn't remember who I know from Instagram handles and who I know from real life.
Yes.
And so it was kind of a cool reset where there were certain people where I'm like, I think we're both pretending to have met each other in person for a long time, and that's just easier that way.
Yes, no, it definitely can be. Because I like to think that I have I've messed up before, let's just say that. But I like to think that I have a pretty good memory when it comes to this stuff. Although there are people who like last year at this big birthday party that I share with a bunch of people, or maybe it was the year before, someone came who I also hadn't seen in years, but I did know there was no confusion there. We knew each other. But he was with a friend who I introduced myself to because I've been like, you know what? I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to introduce myself to this person that I've never met. And she was like, yeah, we've met before. And not like, hey, oh, don't worry about it. I know weird things happen. But it was as if we knew each other, and I'm pretty sure we didn't.
I can't handle that.
It was very uncomfortable. And I was like, yeah, I guess happy birthday. No happy birthday to me. Whatever.
I know, and I think people have like introduced themselves to me twice before, but I always go like,
sure,
so good to meet you, because
100%.
It's an amazing time to wipe the slate clean because maybe I fucked up the first time.
Yes,
or maybe I was not memorable, but but you've forgotten entirely. You've wiped your slate clean, so now. Yes. I can razzle dazzle you the second time around.
New meeting, new you. All that continue to get us off onto tangents. All that being said is that I definitely seen you perform and knew that, especially seeing like Moon Goon and whatnot, and like being good friends with like Jeremy and Angela and Patrick. So that was there. I have like one specific memory of. Well, I have two things I want to share with you. I have one specific memory of a show we both performed at after the pandemic. It must have been like, I think it was right before UCB was really coming back. There was some show at what's the theater that's on Santa Monica and Vine that has a bunch of stages?
The Broadwater?
Yes. It was the Broadwater. There was some improv show. I don't even remember who put it on.
There's so few shows that I did during that specific time there that I have a guess.
Go for it.
We rewrite SNL or make SNL but worse. What is it?
Yes. Oh my God. It's because that was Jeremy
because that was Skylar
and
Jeremy's show.
God. Great moments in comedy made worse.
Yes. That's what it is.
You're right. That's what it was. And I remember, I think you were did some sketch and then improvised 15 more minutes about like Trolls 2 or something. And I just remember thinking you were so funny. I'd seen you perform before, but that one in particular, I was like, it just struck me. It was hilarious.
Oh, thank you. It was such a, it was a really fun show. And I think they were like about to book some big guests. I remember they were like, they had secured an actual, like, because the premise of the show was you take an SNL sketch, you say it all as scripted for 4 or 5 minutes, and then you improvise for 20 more minutes off of that to make it longer and worse.
Yes.
And I think they had like just secured an SNL cast member to actually do the show. Oh. And then the pandemic hit and it was over.
That is brutal.
Just very brutal. We'll never know what we could have had.
No, but who knows? Both of us would probably be in different places because of our friends having an SNL cast member on their show.
Can't even imagine where we'd be.
No. Anyway, I I remember watching you perform at that show that we both were at, and you were so funny. We've gotten to know each other a little better over this past year, especially since you've been back in LA doing a lot of hard drive transfers and just being at more common events. But outside of how we know each other, what do you want to share about yourself with the listener, and is there anything you want to plug?
I am, I'm a lady about town. I am, I do comedy probably like everybody else, a lot of your guests, I assume. I have an improvised Hollywood Roundtable podcast that Connor edits called Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists, for artists, and we just improvise as like fake Hollywood productions doing press tours that don't actually exist. And since we've kind of extended beyond Hollywood as a concept, because it's been so long now that, because it started as like kind of a pandemic thing, and the industry felt like it fully existed still. And now we're sort of seeing like an expansion of what that means. So I think like with it, we've like gone into other spaces like the internet and like things that feel like movies or like theater, but aren't, like art teacher, like theater teacher panels or like stuff like that. But it's been a blast. And yeah, I am sitting, typing on a knockoff Final Draft software in coffee shops every day, just like everybody in this town.
Yes. To echo, or to really underline your show, it's come up because I think this feels like me completing my infinity gauntlet of the artists, where you're the final of 4 to come on the show. And so we talked about the show. I think the first person was Jeremy back in like 2021, and you were first starting the show. And yeah, it's so fun. It's one of those gigs as an editor where I enjoy my time with it because it's so funny and entertaining, and also working with you guys. You guys are easy to work with, and no one makes, at least between me and you all, no one makes my job any harder. So it's great.
Okay, good. I know
truly,
there are times where I'm like, Connor, I said something evil on here. Can you take it out?
Yes. And I'm always like, oh, I think that's so funny, but I will take it out for you. But it's such a great podcast. I was on an episode early this year. I think it was like the second January episode where we played Grand Theft Auto 6 Developers, a game that has since been delayed from this year to next year. Did you hear that news?
No.
Yes.
This is how we were sort of, with that episode, we were like, it'll be so fun to have Connor do this because he knows about this. And like we're kind of stepping outside of our pool of wisdom a little bit on it. So we're like, somebody might come for us, but we'll see. But I was not aware.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure it's going to come out. Well, it's supposed to come out next year. We'll see. And then oh my gosh, that episode's just the numbers are going to really pop when that happens.
They're going to come back, and then people are going to go, hey, where's Edgar Allan Poe in this?
Yeah. I think
that was part of the episode.
Yeah, no sexy crows with huge racks in this game.
Crows with racks. Yeah,
we really predicted that game. Anyway,
go listen to the episode, see for yourselves. There might be insider trading involved. Maybe we know. Maybe we know something. Who knows?
It could be the only preview people are going to get for a while. But your show's great. Thanks for talking a little bit about yourself and introducing yourself to all the hundreds of millions of listeners at this point. Before we talk about your general history with gaming, I'd love if you gave us a little sneak peek of what we're going to talk about later and call me by your game.
Okay. The game I have brought today is Simpsons Hit and Run. It is from the year, I believe, 2003.
Oh, yes.
And I played it on the PlayStation 2. And I don't think you could play it anymore, but I had a blast as a child playing this.
I love it. I'm really excited. This is what I just had a thought leave me. Oh, coincidentally, this game, as we'll probably get into, maybe you already knew, has some influence from the Grand Theft Auto series. So there's coincidentally like a little tie-in to us talking about our episode. there's that, and then we've covered this game once on the podcast. I was looking it up earlier. It was this is episode 252.
Wow.
We had someone on, a friend of the show, Steven Sanow, on 107. So it's been so long. This is one of very few games that's been repeated on the show. And so I'm so pumped to get back into it and hear from you about your experience. But outside of that game, I'm going to talk about your history. When you think about your time with video games, Kylie, what are some of the earliest memories that come to mind? These could be moments where you are playing something or even watching someone else play a video game.
I think, okay, I feel like I was, maybe this isn't true. I guess it depends on like how, when we're counting video games being it, but I feel like I was born around the time that they were kind of popping off.
Oh,
96.
They were. Then they were fully. They had popped.
They had popped.
The pop was in full swing.
Pop was in full swing. Okay, so it had happened. So I grew up with PlayStation 2. I assumed the number 2 meant we were still early.
It does. It's not confusing. It's not like how Xbox names their third console the Xbox One or anything. This is you're in line.
Okay, we're doing linear timeline here.
Yes.
Okay, so I think I remember I must have, the first video game I must have seen was, well, my older cousins always had video games. They always had like whatever a Game Boy or whatever the Switch was of the time.
Yeah.
Like they were always playing it and it always looks really cool. My dad got a PlayStation and he was playing a lot of NASCAR games.
Okay.
Where you would just go literally in a circle.
Yes.
And maybe there were levels, but it just kind of seemed like circles. I don't know how it was like, I guess you could pick different tracks and different cars and stuff, but it was truly, I don't know how you make a game of NASCAR. It's just round and round. It's
probably so for someone who is into NASCAR. Because I'm willing to bet, I've never played a NASCAR game, but I bet it's in the style of a lot of sports games of the era, which are like, it's the sport you watch and like, but we're bringing all that in here, and you're just getting to live your NASCAR fantasy, basically. And that fantasy includes going around and around.
I guess that's what they do. I guess that's what's appealing about it. It's the round and round. We're not like going into like random cities. We're not finding anything. There's nothing to find. We're just going. We're going fast. So I would play that sometimes. He would let us, me and my sisters, play his game, and we would just try and crash the car as much as possible. And I think, I mean, like, so that's like my main game background before Simpsons was, I think, this NASCAR game, and then I think I played Katamari as well. Oh yeah, you had brought this up as a possibility to discuss. That's right. Yeah, have you played it? I'm not sure how popular this was. It's kind of, I'm very familiar with it, but I haven't played this one as well. But it's got a really passionate fan base for those who did play it. I remember loving it, and I don't know how far. I think something I didn't realize about video games for a long time was that they had like stories and objectives and goals, and that you were supposed to play your way through them and get to a next thing. So I kind of lived in level 1 for most things because I didn't understand that that's what it was. Yes. I didn't understand that there was a mission. But yeah, you were like this little ball and you rolled things up, and the bigger thing you rolled, you could eventually roll up like a house and then a planet. Yeah. But I loved it. It was so fun. It always, I don't know if it would be a relaxing game, but the idea of pushing a ball around to then just gather up anything you come into contact with is funny. And then I know that the rolling can get funky if it's lopsided because you got too many farm animals on one side and then there's like a street lamp on the other. But I forgot that we were rolling up living things too. Yes. We got people on the ball. Yep, absolutely. So that was one. You're playing on the PlayStation 2. Were you also, was this the one that you and your sisters would all take a stab at, or was this just you? I think we were all taking a stab at it. I think, yeah, I'm remembering that one. I think we also, I don't know what order in the timeline, but we got Nintendogs around, I think, the same time, maybe a little later.
Oh my gosh.
And that was a big one for me.
So you must have had or shared a Nintendo DS at some point?
Yeah, I think my younger sister got a Nintendo DS before me. And maybe we just had one. I think we just had one. And then we would just like switch back and forth. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think we would have two. But Nintendogs was huge. We also played Cooking Mama. And it was so relaxing. And early Animal Crossing. I think that's the only game that I've taken with me into adulthood.
Yes.
Is I was a big pandemic Animal Crossing person. Because you're just making life. And you can like do bits in your town. Like you can make like little dumb facilities and stuff. Like you could the world is kind of your oyster, and that's what I liked about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never was doing anything with a gun, anything like where anybody was like fighting. I think anything combat I kind of just like didn't get, but anything where it was like, here's your world and you can make a little world, and your vibe is that you kind of just live life in this little world, was like, that was my jam. That's
fun. That sort of, I like all sorts of styles of games, but there is a certain appeal about something that allows you that sort of sandbox nature of a game, whether it's leaning more Animal Crossing that is sort of like a life sim of sorts, or just Nintendogs where you're raising a puppy and just sort of interacting with it however you feel. I totally see the appeal.
Yeah, it's just it's like calming. It's soothing. It's just, this dog is here and I have to take care of it, but if I don't, nothing will happen.
Yes, it's not a Tamagotchi that's gonna like end up dead at a certain point. It'll probably just have some fleas or something to take care of.
No, it kind of like pees in the corner a little bit, from what I remember.
Nintendogs, despite having a DS when it came out pretty much, I missed Nintendogs until this is going to let you know a little bit about myself. I did buy Nintendogs on the Nintendo DS last summer.
Whoa.
So I got the one with the dachshund on it, which I don't know if that was an early one, but it's got this cute little blonde dachshund, and I truly made sure it worked and haven't touched it since. But do you remember what kind of dog you had in that game?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I had like I think I remember really liking the small ones. Okay. I was like Chihuahua and like Boxer, I think. Cute. Just like little guys.
Yes.
It was, and I remember at the time thinking that the graphics were like amazing.
Yeah.
And then looking back, I'm like, these dogs are barely there.
Yes. The early like 3D, especially in a handheld form, was brand new, and it probably was to us just so good. I want to just ask a little bit more about the Animal Crossing of it all. If you're playing on the DS, then you're playing one called Wild World, which is one that I also loved, and I think the reason I got Nintendogs last year was because we were doing some coverage on the Nintendo DS, and so I was playing. I got out that old Animal Crossing and truly played it for like a month straight, where I'd check in it for like a half hour, maybe less, every day, and it was so fun and charming. Especially just sometimes, I don't know what this is, but sometimes something with bad graphics and looks like shit is just charming to me. I don't know why.
It's just really nice.
Yes. There's probably a lot of nostalgia there, and that's probably what's making it feel good. But so that's what you'd have been playing back in the day. When you were referring to this more recent jaunt through Animal Crossing, I assume you're playing on the Nintendo Switch and playing the new one in the pandemic.
Yeah, and that one is, what is that one called? That is
New Horizons.
New Horizons, yeah. And I think the cool thing about that one was that everybody was playing it at the same time.
Big time. Mm-hmm.
And so I found my way onto some like Reddits with like different Google Sheets where people were like, here are the exact date and time combinations you need to like catch this shooting star that will get you this like I forget what it was, but like you could redeem certain colored stars that washed up on the beach for like these like premium grade furniture. Like
Yeah.
you could get a harp from like a Gemini thing, and I was trying to collect them all. And so I was like militantly logging on. And then I think another thing about this game that you could do is time travel, where you go to your Switch, you reset the date, and you take yourself off the internet, you put it on a manual setting where you get to change the date and year that you're at. And so I would like go outside, see if the owl that controls the stars was there, and if she wasn't there, I'd reset the Switch, go to the next day, go back, see if she was there. It was like deep COVID. Like I had all the time in the world.
Yes.
And it took up a lot of time. I worked so hard.
I mean, this is giving me such a good idea of the level of, I guess, intensity that you put into it, because this was so many people. Like, I loved learning about friends who I would have never guessed would have gotten into it. And I had a friend, one of my friends, Liz, former guest of the show, she was like coordinating people to be like, hey, this person I know, their island is selling the turnips, or this person on the internet, their island is buying turnips for a crazy price today. Here's the code. Don't tell anyone I gave this to you. sort of thing.
The turnip game. I forgot about I never really got into the turnip stock market of it all, but I know that was such a huge thing of like internet sharing and like dropping dates and islands and stuff. There's truly so much you can do on it, and you can just go fishing if you want.
Yes, yeah, you just go chill, catch a million sea bass or whatever is out in your little ocean. Yeah, that was really a place and time. So that sounds like something that's more recent for you too. Have you played any other games recently, whether it be like socially with friends or like something that you've dabbled with?
This isn't super recent, but I played a couple years ago. I played Untitled Goose Game.
Oh yeah,
with a couple of people, and I really liked that. And I don't know if it was a fast. I feel like we finished it in a couple days.
You can get through that pretty quick in a few hours if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it was, and it was another kind of like sort of semi-calming one. I mean, like there's like more of an objective, but the animation, like I remember it being really funny, and the animation was just kind of like goofy. So that's what I did. I don't know if there's been much else recently. Sure. I think every time I take out my Switch, and I like once or twice a year now, I will go onto Animal Crossing on my Switch and go, oh no, if I go into this, I will never come out.
Yeah. There's that with the game. Maybe you've experienced with this or even the past one, but if you take too much time off and go back into your town, you get like berated by the town. There's cockroaches
everyone's like,
everywhere.
We all moved away because you don't care about us anymore.
Yes.
And cockroaches, weeds.
There's no drinking water here. You killed us. Is the energy that they give off.
We're dead.
Yeah. Exactly. But
no, I think I've done I think I've done that, and then Tiny Tower. Do you know Tiny Tower? Oh no, my headphones. Hold on, let me twist the cable until I can hear you again. Uh-oh.
Testing. There we are.
We're back.
I'm glad that you know. It's like someone who like has like an old car that you just have to start the right way is kind of what you're doing with, like moving your headphone around.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't need a new one. I'm good.
Yeah.
You just have to bend it at exactly the right angle.
That is something I would do. But Tiny Tower is what you were bringing up.
Tiny Tower. Are you familiar with this? It's an app.
I was going to say this sounds like a mobile game.
Yeah, it's definitely a mobile game, but it's like, it's not really the like Royal King, Royal Match style of mobile games. Like it's like kind of has like an old kind of retro arcade, like 8-bit or 4-bit or whatever that design is called. And you literally just take little guys up your building and you drop them off, and then you assign them like little jobs, and they like, and the people who work in the different like floors of your building will like have a happy meter to show how happy they are. And if you match someone at their dream job, they're like really happy. And then you just get more money from dropping people off at floors. And then if you get enough money, you get to build new floors.
Wow. And
it's like another very like sort of like soothing game with no stakes kind of thing.
An interesting, like, I'm sure there's a more specific term for this, but it's like a management simulator in a way.
It really is. It's very like, okay, these are some problems that need to be addressed, but you can do it if you stay calm and you just sort of like, because I worked in restaurants for a long time, and then I would like go back and play Cooking Mama again on like the Wii. And it was like, there's like something satisfying to these tables have problems. Let me fix them in an order. Like there's something very that scratches my brain in the right way, where it's just very clear tasks that need to be completed.
Yeah, and sometimes that can be, especially if you want to turn your brain off, a little easier than like going crazy onto something creative or whatever. It's just like solving a little problem.
There's just some problems, and I'm the one to fix it.
Yeah.
I'm God in this town, and I have to sort it out.
And that's really what draws me to it. Yeah. That's incredible. I have a couple more questions for you before we move on to the break. The first of which is, I meant to ask this earlier, so I'm taking us back a bit. Did you guys have a family computer growing up that you would ever play anything on?
Yes, we had the desktop computer.
Nice.
And there was this game that my dad played that I played for a bit. It was like a zombie something.
Okay.
But it was a Plants versus Zombies.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, where you would grow plants and they would become zombies. No, the zombies would come at your garden and your garden would fight back.
Yes, it's the style of game. It's not like Tiny Tower, but it's called the tower defense, where you're like, building up your reserves or whatever to fight off the oncoming enemies or whatever.
Yeah, I played that, and then another game that like sounds it was a game where like there were people made of mud. And they would build little huts, and then fire would like melt. Heat waves would come in and like burn them, so they would get all crackly, so then you'd need to add water. It was about maintaining the perfect mixture of sun, dirt, and water at all times so that they could continue to build huts. And that was another one that I've tried to find it, and I cannot find a playable version this year.
It's so, I expected you to share something along the lines of like some children's program you played, but you're playing these very interesting or like strange management games over and over. This is so funny.
Management. I think because I'm like kind of OCD, and I've had like a sorting thing ever since I was a kid.
Oh,
and
sure.
now I've never made the connection between those two things, but that's absolutely what it is.
Here it is. That's great. The last question I have for you is have you seen a game recently, whether it's one that you have and you haven't played or that you've heard about, that you're interested in trying out?
I'm not super up to date on like new games.
Yes.
But I'm looking to get back into DDR.
Oh,
I think it's
yes.
time. I think it's time we go back.
Yeah.
There's plenty more dancing to do, and there was a lot I didn't do correctly, and I'm looking to get back into it.
Yes, and it's not on a real dance floor. It's on a dancing pad with arrows to step on. Is that something you played growing up?
Yeah, I forgot about that one, but I remember it was such an ordeal to set up, because you had to like unroll the big pad, hook up all the cables. And,
so you had it at home?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was like, it was a whole thing.
Wow.
I remember the day my mom like finally threw them out. And I think she was very excited to have them gone.
Yes.
Because they were these big bulky pads that were just like covered in black cable. Like there was just like, they were not cute to look at.
And of course, if someone's using them, they're stomping around and it's loud.
Yeah.
I have a friend, this comes up occasionally because it's not uncommon for people to bring up DDR as something they've played before.
Yeah.
But my friend Nicole Loria, like growing up in her basement in New Jersey, her dad had like built kind of a little arcade, And when her and her sister got into DDR, he got the like legit metal stand that you would see at the arcade, and so they were doing it for real.
Mm-hmm. Whoa.
So no sliding around like you would on that little, I don't even know what that material would be made of the pads you had.
It was like a silicone-y type, like metal-y, not metal, like rubbery thing. I don't remember. But no, the metal, that's hardcore. That's like that's a built-in structure. That's a commitment.
It really is. And just, so no sliding around that thing. But I love that, like, asking... That question, asking you if something you're looking for, like you were interested in, led me back to something from your past, which is so fun. But Kylie, thanks for sharing about your just general history with video games. That was really fun to like fill in some of the lines.
Oh, of course. And because I came in going like, I haven't played very many games. I don't know like what all, but then you realize there's so many more that you haven't even touched.
Absolutely. And plenty of times I think too, people will come on, guests will come on the show and not consider a whole not think about the family computer or like the things that they played out at like a birthday or whatever. And so that all is fun context for me to just pry out of people too. But and I bet even after, days in the future, your brain's going to still be moving. Things will probably come to mind.
Wii Sports.
Yeah. Oh, how could I? No, I didn't talk about you. Well, that was really fun. We'll go ahead and just take a quick break before we come back and talk about all things The Simpsons Hit and Run. So I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Call Me By Your Game. Connor McCabe returning to the mic with Kylie Brakeman. Kylie, hello.
Hello, Connor. Nice to see you again.
Hey, you too, my friend. Well, let's get into the main event today. We are going to be discussing, your time with The Simpsons Hit and Run and all that comes with that. But before we do, I'm going to do a little table setting and just detail the game. And if you want to share anything that you feel is important contextually, jump in anytime.
Sounds good.
Great. Otherwise, I could just monologue for a couple paragraphs. Without further ado, The Simpsons Hit and Run is a 2003 action-adventure game developed by Radical Entertainment and published by Vivendi Universal Games. The game follows the Simpson family and their friend Apu, who witness many strange incidents in Springfield. Security cameras, mysterious vans, crop circles, and a new and improved flavor of a popular soft drink, Buzz Cola, that causes insanity. Taking matters into their own hands, they discover numerous shocking secrets and soon realize these incidents are a part of a larger alien conspiracy caused by Kang and Kodos, the two aliens who are often seen, a lot of cutaways in the show. The gameplay largely focuses on exploration and missions. Players often race enemies and interact with supporting characters on timed quests, and it features many elements found in role-playing games such as explorable worlds and side tasks. Upon release, it received positive reviews from critics, with praise particularly focused at the interpretation of The Simpsons television series as a video game, and its take on Grand Theft Auto as well was revered with the graphics, and while mostly criticism surrounded some aspects of gameplay like some bugs and glitches here and there, it's often considered to be the best Simpsons tie-in game and has gained a cult following, and it was a commercial success at the time, selling over 3 million copies worldwide. It received the award for Favorite Video Game at the 2004 Nickelodeon Australian Kids' Choice Awards. And it was released on the PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Xbox, and it sold enough to basically earn like greatest hits on those consoles. But anyway, it was a really popular game that was sort of a GTA-like in the Simpsons world. It was originally, this is something I shared on the previous episode, this is one of my fun facts, and I promise I prepared new ones for you today. It was originally going to just be a sequel to The Simpsons Road Rage, which that game, do you know that game at all?
No, I didn't know.
That game is basically the game Crazy Taxi, where you're just driving around, going to points of interest as quickly as you can. It was basically just that, but it's in the world of The Simpsons. Funny enough, Angela actually talked about, not that game, but Crazy Taxi, when she did her episode years ago. But
that's so funny.
So this game was supposed to be a follow-up to that, and then they decided to make something a little more original for the franchise. But that's all I had to share about it contextually. Did you have any bullet points that you're like, Connor, we got to get this in there?
So, no, I learned from that paragraph, I learned new stuff about the game because I maybe have sort of touched on this earlier, but I kind of lived in level 1 of most games because I didn't know that you could do objectives. I didn't know that there were missions. And so the fact that Krang, the alien, was behind all this, news to me. Yes,
that's so great.
And I can't believe I was playing this without ever getting any answers to the mystery. But I think I was young enough that I didn't even understand that there was anything weird. I didn't know that there was anything like, I wasn't attuned to the storytelling of something's weird here. You have to figure out what it is.
No base reality for you to say that's unusual.
That's unusual there.
Now go ahead and use that, kids.
But you said, so was this game a parody of Grand Theft Auto?
I guess, yeah, sort of. In fact, in the article, I actually omitted the word, that word specifically. But yeah, it was. And it's supposed to be just more like the mission and structure style of this game is a lot more similar to that than the game that it was succeeding being Road Rage. So yes. That's
so funny. I mean, and that's kind of like my entire experience with The Simpsons because I watched it every night growing up from like age 3 to whatever, 10, 12. It just like was a sort of like every day at 7:30 we turn on. I mean, this was back in the days of network TV and we all had cable and that was like the past. But I watched The Simpsons like truly every single night. And I didn't understand a lot of the things that they were saying.
Sure.
And then you watch them later and you realize that they're references to things that are happening in society. But
yes.
I just assumed that everything was something that they made up. And so I think I thought the same thing about the game. But of course that makes total sense. That it was like what if we did our version of a Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah, there's even like a mechanic in the game where like Homer can kick like any like other character, so you can kind of like. So I guess this game doesn't have like the violence on the level of GTA of like you're not shooting anyone, but you can just like kind of like punt someone around. I guess.
Yeah, and I did feel guilty after a while because I was kicking people left and right, and you could just kick NPCs anytime you wanted.
Yes.
And they would just kind of silently go to the ground and they'd kick their legs a little bit to try and get back up. But they were like largely okay.
Yeah, it is a very funny image. It's mostly a harmless like annoyance that you're doing to them. So you grew up watching The Simpsons a ton. Do you remember how you even got this game, or in your memory at this point, is it something that was just there?
I think my dad was playing it.
Okay.
And eventually we hopped onto it, similar to the NASCAR situation, where I think it was like something familiar because I'm like, oh, I watched this. I called them the yellow people for the first because I was very, very young.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, it's the yellow people. And there they are. And they're on my video game. So I think it was just kind of always present in the house.
Yeah, that makes sense. That happens to be, it's a good amount of the games brought on here are titles that are just like, it was just there, and then I was playing it.
It was just there, and when you're a kid, you have so much time to kill. Yeah. There's so much that, I just remember like these like long summers where every day felt like a million years because I guess like comparatively you haven't lived that much life, so it actually does feel very long.
Truly.
But I would just play these for hours.
Yeah.
And now I know that because I watched a little bit of I watched like 5 minutes of a playthrough before this to be like, let me remember what it looked like. I'm like, oh, I barely scratched the surface, but I loved it.
Yes. Well, so from your essentially level 1 experience of hit and run, what comes to mind when you think about it?
It was definitely a lot of like you can drive into things and get coins. You can kick anyone you want. You can talk to anyone you want. And Homer had all these, like, because level 1 is Homer. And he had all these sound bites that, like, as soon as I watched them back just now, like, jolted me back in my memory, where I didn't know what they meant at the time. But, like, one was like, ow, my bikini zone's chafing. Just, like, was something that Homer would say when he ran around. And I didn't know what a bikini zone was. I didn't know what chafing was. But it was just, like, something that you hear constantly as a kid. And you just, like, pretend to know what it means or, like, make assumptions. But, yeah, a lot of that, there were, like, coins. There were big, like, Buzz Cola things that you could shake and they would become coins. It was a lot of, I remember, I also remember going into the, like, Stonecutter's Lodge area of it, where everyone's in robes and you could drive through all these, like, haunted candles, like a secret society type zone.
Yes.
I remember jumping through the power plant. It was really fun.
Sounds like a lot of, like, exploring a world you, like, would see on TV, but now you could just choose to walk around to certain areas if you wanted.
Yeah, it was basically just playing house.
Yeah, exactly. Which you can just do that in a level if you don't pursue anything.
Yeah, and they give you a lot of stuff to do that isn't the story.
Yeah, that's fascinating to hear, and just so I love hearing stories like this because it's so fun how there are so many different ways that people can experience games, whether it be, like, mainlining the story because you're like, I'm going to finish this as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Or someone like you who is, as you said, just playing house in the world of Springfield, I guess. Yeah.
And I think I was the oldest child. So, like, a lot of things, I felt like there were so many things I just didn't know about because, like, that's stuff that, like, an older kid would teach you.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, no, you're supposed to play the game through the levels. Or, like, no, don't wear that shirt. Or, no, this is what a popular music sounds like. It's, like, all these things that I just kind of had to take a guess at because no one was telling me what to do. You're
blazing the trail as the oldest sibling. There's no road for you to follow.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they kind of just, like, look at what you're doing and go, I guess that's right.
Yeah. I'm the oldest of 2, and so it was kind of similar. The only way that it was different for me was, like, my best friend had older brothers. So I would, like, learn things from him, whether it be just life stuff or even game stuff, and he was learning that from his older brothers too. So I had, like, an example, but, like, that was the closest thing I had to another kid showing me, I don't know, how to do life or whatever.
How to do life. Yeah. No, you're really just going in blind.
Yes. That's incredible. I love that. Do you, when you think about this game as well, you already named some, like, settings in the game that you remember visiting frequently, and I know you said you maybe only played level 1. Do you ever remember running around as someone who wasn't Homer?
It's possible that I looked at, like, a list. I think I maybe got to Lisa or Bart or Marge.
Sure.
I definitely did not get to the section where you play Apu. That feels very... I remember playing as other family members at one point. I probably got older, pulled the game out again and went, oh, this is how you're supposed to do it. But no, did not get to any aliens, did not get to Apu. But I think I was Marge or Lisa.
Yes. Okay, great. That's cool. And so for the most part too, it sounds like the thing that drew you back was just kind of exploring and the playing house of it all, or was there anything else?
I think it was like probably a nostalgia, it's the world, it's the sort of escapism thing where you're like, I'm just in this world and I don't have to think about anything because I'm a Simpson right now. Yeah, that's great. Do you nowadays, or like into your adulthood, were The Simpsons something that you come back to, like, presently? I think so. I think there are definitely times where, especially during COVID, my boyfriend and I he also grew up watching it, and we would just, like, run back old seasons.
Oh, that's great.
yeah, a lot of it is just during COVID.
Yeah.
We had so much time, but yeah, it's weird. It like all holds up.
Yeah.
I don't know if the first season holds up for me. I'm not one of those like Simpsons diehard, like the 1989 season is the season
sure.
type people. I think the animation's a little scary until we get to like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Homer's voice is like really low. It's a little alarming.
Oh, yes.
But we were living in New York for a couple of years, and we went to this. We saw a thing that like the bar that was like near us in Williamsburg had a Simpsons trivia night. And we're like, oh, we should stop by. And it was like no one was fucking around. They were like in episode 2, in season 2, episode 10, Lisa takes Nelson home to her house. What poster does she have on the walls? And
you're like, I guess we can't just casually do this.
We could not casually go in. We bombed so hard. And like there were people there that it was clear that like they do this every month, and they are like decked out head to toe, and they know exactly what's going to happen. And they air a couple episodes of The Simpsons after the trivia, and people were shouting the words as it was happening like a Rocky Horror screening.
Oh my God.
It was really unreal.
That is on one hand I'm like, wow, you have something in your life that you like really love and adore, and on the other hand I'm like, you're kind of just, I don't remember the character's name in The Simpsons, but you're kind of just like the video store clerk in a way.
Yeah, you're all the comic book guy.
Yes. Oh, the comic book guy. That's right. I'll share about myself really quick. I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons growing up because.
Oh yeah.
And like I think it wasn't the most uncommon thing back then, and the reasoning was because Bart was rude to his parents.
I love that.
Like, my parents were worried about me becoming a smart aleck, and so I didn't get to watch that show, but I still was a smart aleck. Like, anyway, so it didn't help. But
Bart doesn't need to teach you that.
No, yeah, I see. That's something that I, as the oldest child, I was already doing on my own. I didn't need someone to show me.
Are we born or are we made? Sometimes it's in there.
It's a great question.
I remember that, like, there was like, I was looking back into stuff about this general time that I think we're like somewhat around the same age, but like that Beavis and Butthead was like an actual problem that people were worried about.
Oh,
like,
sure,
they were like banning episodes where he set fire to something. Like, it was like our young men are going to imitate these cartoon characters.
Yes.
And this is an actual societal problem that we have to tackle. And I find that so funny because they're just like cartoons.
Yes. If it's not that, it's people worried about like video games influencing young people. Like, it's whatever they can. Look, there's definitely some media out there that's problematic, but plenty of stuff has been villainized that didn't need it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Bart Simpson. But anyway, Simpsons were more of a thing I like championed in adulthood, and there was a while where when I would work from home, like honestly probably editing artist on artist on artist in like late 2022 or whatever, where I would like when I would make and eat lunch at home, I would watch one episode of The Simpsons, and so I like went through something like 12 seasons doing that. It's
the perfect
nuts.
amount of time too. Just like a quick bite. It's 20 minutes and then you're out.
Bingo. Like, we just started. Did you watch The Studio on Apple? Yeah. So we're watching it right now, and I'm really liking it. Like 4 episodes in, I'm a big fan. But it's also, well, the runtime of those are inconsistent. But it's a little long to watch during a lunch. Like, I'm like, okay, I want to get back to what I was doing.
That's the problem with the prestige television era, is that it is not something you can just like take a break and go do. It's like something you watch at the end of the day. Totally.
So, yeah, I'm getting into the weeds here, but The Simpsons, they're great.
They're great.
One thing I want to dive into a little bit, Kylie, is the where you were playing this game, where the PS2 was set up in your home. Can you scene paint as best you can what that room was like, where it was in the house?
Yes. Okay. We're in a living room with kind of like big open windows.
Okay.
We've got hardwood floor that kind of has this sort of like early 2000s like I don't know what it is, but there's like a pattern to it that's like not just standard strips. It's like sort of these like little cubes.
Yes.
There was like some like kind of Tuscan kitchen stuff going on for sure.
Cool.
Like the walls had like that texture of paint that's not cottage cheese, but like the wipes where it's like
absolutely.
Yeah. Reds, yellows, like it's sort of like that classic sort of 2002 vibe.
It's like my friend's mom's kitchen I'm hearing about. Yeah.
And we didn't even go that extreme on it, but there's definitely like traces of it. I don't know if you're getting the TikTok early HGTV resurgence right now.
No.
But it's okay. It might be a girl talk thing, but like it's all of these clips from this show called Decorating Sense or Budget Decorating, where this like very 1999 woman is like showing you DIY tricks for your house, but there's no Pinterest and there's no Tumblr and there's no actual standard of like what it's supposed to be.
Yes.
So they're just doing whatever they want. They're decoupaging on the walls and they're like painting, like, what if we painted grapes on the walls? Like, it's like pure arts and crafts vibe. And it's so, it's just like this wild blast of nostalgia to like, oh, this is what all of the kitchens kind of looked like. Even if we weren't doing this, there was like sort of like, we're all in an Italian kitchen and there's maximalism and it's like kind of, so there was like a little bit of that vibe to it. But we had these like black leather couches that were really cushy and really good on like summer days, because one thing I hate is when it's warm and you sit down in a room with no AC and sort of like what's happening right now, and it's fabric chairs. I think that's so, it just makes me go, ooh.
Oh, yes.
But the leather kept everything cool. And so I remember like sometimes I would like, if like the AC wasn't super strong in my house, so we would like, I would be like jumping to like different sides of the couch to get the coldest spot of the leather.
Yes.
And this is Pasadena, so it's really hot in the summer.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like baseline warm always. And yeah, it was in the center. We had this TV that was, I think, like kind of boxy, kind of gray on the outside. Like it was like back when like a new TV was like kind of an expensive thing. And now you could get a TV for $50.
Yeah, back when they were expensive giant hunks of plastic that could crush a child if they fell on them.
Yeah. They felt dangerous. I remember a running joke that my parents would say is like, well, if we're crushed by the TV, you guys need to know how to do this. And that was like something they would kind of come back to. But now that doesn't make any sense because the TV would never crush.
Yeah. It might just like inconvenience me a little bit or
it's just kind of like, ow.
Yeah.
This is annoying. There's a TV on me. But yeah, it was in the center of that. It was kind of like in the center of the house.
Okay, cool. That's great. When you think about playing this game too, I'm sure you're bouncing between the coldest leather that you can find. Is this something that you mostly did by yourself, or did your sisters or dad play with you too?
I think I mostly did these by myself. It was mostly like a passive, like, let me explore this thing, and then we would maybe take turns for a while.
Yes.
Like I'd take an hour or so, and then my sister would take an hour or so. But she had her DS, I think, by the time... I think, well, okay, during this period of time, I might have been like 6 and she might have been 2, so it might have just been me for a while. And... yeah, but I think there was definitely some like, okay, you've been hogging it, give it to me type vibes.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially, and you were talking earlier about, summer just being kind of this endless void as a kid. And it sounds like this was something that among many things you were just filling the time with, of like, well, like I'll turn on the Simpsons game and run around a little bit. Yeah.
It's just one of those like, and now you look back and you're like, that sounds awesome.
Yes,
to have
100%.
No responsibilities, no anything. I think that's like what the nostalgia I associate with it probably is, having no responsibility, no self-guilt of like, well, you should be doing this. Like, it's just like, school is not in, so I have nothing else to do.
Yeah,
and I can
Kylie, you
just
should be
fuck
learning
around.
how to spell your own name right now. There was none of that.
No, I'll learn
Yeah.
it eventually.
Gosh, one of my good friends has recently in the past couple of years got his teaching credential, and now he's a teacher, and this is like his first real summer break, and he was just talking about it to me the other day, and like you said, there's just nothing sounded better than being like, oh, I can just kind of do nothing all day and that's fine.
Adult teachers have really found a cheat code. I mean, besides being not paid as much as they should, but
yes, besides that and like paying for their own school supplies, there's the summer break. At least there's summer break.
You get summer break.
Yeah. Now looking back, this is a pretty early time in your life. You are, as you said, roughly 6 probably when you're playing this game. What comes to mind from this time period, whether it be something broad or specific?
Yeah, it's like, I think what was I doing? I mean, my friends would come over and we would like have a lot of pool hangs and just would like jump in the pool, play Marco Polo, do all of that business. Lots of like, just like weird play dates. We were playing like Polly Pockets and stuff. And, I think I was watching like, I don't know what would have been out at this time. Maybe my timeline's a little like off, but like Mean Girls and Legally Blonde was like a big sleepover movie.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
And so it might have been a little later, but yeah, it's like just a lot of like being in the pool all the time. I had softball. I was doing softball.
Oh, cool.
I was really bad. It never got better. And my mom recently just told me the other night, she's like, yeah, well, when you were 5, I took you to the eye doctor and they said you have terrible depth perception and it can't be fixed. It's like not something that can be fixed with glasses. And we never told you because we didn't want you to think that you couldn't do it. But now I'm like, I look back and of course I couldn't do softball. That makes, I was never going to ever. So I think just like a lot of kid stuff. I was like collecting stickers. I was doing Girl Scouts.
Okay, Girl Scouts. I was just about to ask if like you had any like phases of things you liked. Like for me growing up, my parents will recount the phases of being like, oh, this time I was into Ninja Turtles, and then I was really into dinosaurs, and then it was trains or whatever. So I don't know if any of that comes to mind either.
Yeah, I think it was, I think I had like a little bit of a Disney princess phase. And then I probably, oh my God, what was I doing? At 6?
I mean, it's so
6
young
and
that
7. I think I actually started doing this like, I was kind of into like fashion design. Like I got this like little crafting kit where you would like cut out dresses in different like colors and like put them on these little dolls. And so that was like definitely something I was doing. I'm sure I was like drawing a lot and doodling a lot. I think I was like a big crafter and a big like I would collect stickers and like take them out, organize them, put them back, never use them. And yeah, I don't know what I was up to.
You've named a lot of stuff.
I don't know what I was up to, but I miss it.
Yeah, truly. Well, this is a hyper-specific thing, but I'm thinking about the early childhood for myself too. Do you remember like early movies that you were really attached to as a kid?
Oh yeah. Okay, I was attached to Shrek. For sure.
So was Amanda. Yeah, that's
definitely
a big one.
Shrek 2 specifically. I don't know what year that came out, but I was rewatching that DVD all the time. Same thing with Lion King 1.5. I loved the sequel that's all Timon and Pumbaa. That was one I kept coming back to.
I had never seen it, and Amanda showed it to me a couple years ago. It's a movie that her and Riley used to watch all the time, and I couldn't believe how funny it was. Have you seen it recently?
I'm glad, because I haven't seen it since, and like it was. I remember it being so funny. So
it's
I'm glad
still
it holds
very
up.
good. Yes.
Yeah, definitely that. I think like Emperor's New Groove, maybe a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, there were a couple of DVDs that were like for sure. Maybe The Incredibles might have been. I know for sure it was Shrek was like the most rewatched one.
Yes, that's great. I love it. I recently had like a hankering. I was like, well, I've only seen the first 2 Shreks. What if we watched them all? And we watched the first 2, and I was like, actually, I mean, they were great, but I was like, I don't think I want to watch the third one.
I think
actually.
I'm good. Well, yes. I remember 3 and 4 kind of, it wasn't the same vibe.
Yeah, 2 even like this was only last year we watched 1 and then 2. 2 even leans way harder into the pop culture stuff than 1 did, and it's still mostly really funny. But if this then whatting that to what 3 probably is, I think I was good. Yeah.
I think that's a good way of putting it. Of like, okay, I understand.
If this is the trend,
I think I'm
then thanks. Right. Yeah. That's great. Thank you. I feel like on this episode in particular, I've been asking more specific questions just about like things that sort of like filled your life at that age, because it's so far back to think of.
It is so far away, and I think it is just like it's part of a weird childhood collage.
Big time.
It's sort of like just a little slice of life.
Exactly. Well, as we sort of wrap up this conversation started from the Simpsons hit and run, as we, head into some post-show stuff I have prepared for us, if you had to put a bow on whatever place this game held for you, what would you say about it?
I think it was, something that kept me occupied. I only scratched the surface of it, but I really thought that I was getting the full experience, and in a way I was. You're kicking people as Homer. What more do you need?
That's great. Well, Kylie, thanks for bringing this game on. It was super fun to hear from you about just like what we could remember about roughly 2002 and 2003. I love it. We're going to do some stuff just before we leave. The first segment I'm going to lead us into is the Fact Me by Your Game segment, and that's where I'm just going to share a couple of fun facts with you about this game.
Okay.
I have 2 prepared today. The first of which comes from and I'll put for the listener out there, I'll put a citation in the show notes for these videos if you want to watch the full thing. Both of these are going to come from the channel Did You Know Gaming. This one is just about the Simpsons hit and run. I have this titled, That Authentic Simpsons Touch. Now, The Simpsons hit and run has such an authentic feel because many of those involved with the actual TV show also contributed to the game. This includes most of the voice cast who contributed their voices to their characters and allegedly voiced almost a season's worth of lines just for this game because, like many video games, there's so many scenarios that you're accounting for, or even just like throwaway lines, as opposed to having like a very specific, this is the script we're following for this episode. But also the writing staff contributed and gave many rewrites and suggestions to the game creators, which could have been fun or really annoying depending on who you are. But and everything, I guess, understandably so, what had to be approved by Gracie Films and Matt Groening. I know that at least at the you were saying that you're like, I don't know really what was going on in the game, but I wonder if you were to revisit it now, if it would feel authentic in that way.
I mean, a lot of even a couple of the sound bites I heard just now, like watching a little preview of it, I'm like, oh no, these are like funny. It's like very in the voice of the show, and that doesn't surprise me that they were very involved in that. That's not typical with games now, is it?
I don't especially not now. Back in the day, I think you would occasionally get like, oh, in this SpongeBob game, most of the voice actors are there, but for some reason Mr. Krabs is different. You would, but like the creators and writers were usually not involved. So I think that is probably one of the reasons that this game has a bit of a cult following nowadays.
Yeah, it was just like very funny. Yeah. And I guess there's not that many like comedy animated like shows that you could make a game out of in this way.
No, there were some in this era. Like there's like some SpongeBob games, like I just referenced SpongeBob, but no, not. And they were all very similar too. Like they're kind of these like run and jump around the world, collect stuff style games.
Yeah. This seems to have a mystery.
Yes, there is something afoot that we need to uncover. That's the first one. The second fun fact I have is titled The Lost Sequel, Simpsons Adventure. This comes from another Did You Know Gaming video with this title, so I'll go ahead and put that in the show notes as well. But Kylie, did you know that there was a sequel planned for The Simpsons Hit and Run?
I did not know this.
Well, there was. After the success of this game, preliminary development began on a sequel. Ultimately, licensing and publishing issues got the way of a multi-game deal as a follow-up to Hit and Run. I know, what could have been? Even though there was like severe enthusiasm from the development team who was working on the very early stages of this other game, it was apparently going to be titled The Simpsons Adventure and would see Springfield. The game was going to be in a similar style, so sort of a GTA-like, would be Springfield through a medieval lens. So, like, what if Springfield was during the medieval times? Like they reference in the video specifically, what if Moe's Tavern was like Moe's, I don't even know what the name for
Ye Old Moe's.
I mean, actually, I literally think that is what they reference in the video, so... That's
so funny.
Yeah.
Damn, what could have been? Because that sounds like a great idea for a game.
Yeah.
Are there medieval games?
Oh, there's a medieval. Who knew it was such a popular setting?
I forgot about the entire fantasy genre as a whole. I'm remembering this now. Of course there are.
Yes, there are plenty. So it would have been, I mean, probably a great setting for that. But
yeah.
That'll do it for the fun facts. I'll put the link to those videos in the show notes. The final segment of the show, we're here. This is the game recommendations. Now, Kylie, this segment is my one forced tie-in to the movie Call Me By Your Name, where I'm going to treat The Simpsons Hit and Run as your passionate summer fling that did not work out. You broke up. I mean, you were dumped, let's be honest. You're the Timothy Chalamet in this scenario.
I got Chalamet hard.
You really did. And in order to help you get over the heartbreak of The Simpsons Hit and Run leaving you, I have 3 recommendations of other video games that all have a little something in common with that. And so I'm hoping that you can, get over this heartbreak. But the big question for you that I have first is, are you ready to get back out there?
I'm ready. It's time. It's been a long time, but I've been working on myself, and I think I'm ready.
This is great. Most people are a little more tepid about that, but I love the confidence here. I have 3 recommendations for you today.
Okay.
The first of which is if what you loved about this game is that you loved that there was a big fun world to goof around and laugh in. And now that I know about how you played the first game, maybe this time you want to follow a story. I'll recommend.
I think I could be open to that.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. I'll recommend a game called Thank Goodness You're Here. This is a game that actually came out last year. It's a comedy adventure. What did they title it? It's like they called it like a slapformer. It's a play on the word platformer, which is a style game where, yeah, it's just a big goofy world and apparently had some really funny British writing in it. So that's your first one.
Okay, I'm into that. What is that again?
It's called Thank Goodness You're Here.
Thank goodness you're here. Oh, goodness is very British already.
It really is. The second recommendation is if you're just here for The Simpsons, it's all you care about, then I'm going to recommend the Simpsons arcade game. Have you ever played this old arcade game?
I actually have recently.
Yeah.
I'm just remembering. I played it at like some brewery had it.
Yes.
And it's like you keep putting coins in and you can stay alive as long as you give it money.
Yes, exactly.
And we made it pretty far, I think. It's a fun game.
It's a great one to pick up and play with friends. I think you can play as maybe is it just Bart and Homer, or can you play as
I think you become different people.
Okay.
Or like when you join the game, we were having, it was 4 of us at once going through this.
Okay, gotcha.
And I think you could play as multiple people.
Yeah, I loved playing as Bart because he would swing his skateboard and kind of ride around. Anyway, that's your second one. And the final recommendation that I have for you is if you walked away from this game and your heart is just soft for Apu, you want to live in his shoes rather than run around the world, then I'll recommend the game Supermarket Simulator, where you literally run a supermarket. And based on what you told me about your history with games, this is supposed to be a joke. The last one's always a bit. This seems like a home run for you.
But now I actually think it could be great for stress management.
Yes.
I think I was actually born for middle management, and it's a dream I'll never get to complete.
Yes. Well, anyway, I'll wrap this up by recalling these three. We've got Thank Goodness You're Here, the Simpsons arcade game, and Supermarket Simulator. That'll do it for the Game Rex, and that'll bring us to the end of the show. So before we go and plug whatever we want, and that I'll put in the show notes, Kylie, thanks for taking the time to do this. This was so fun to dive into a very early moment in your life.
Thank you so much. I don't often get to talk about being 6 years old on podcasts. So I'm glad I'm finally able to tell this story.
I'm just always doing different favors like that for people. Well, thanks for being here. I know we plugged some stuff early on, but what do you want to plug? Where can people find you?
You can find me at Deadeye Brakeman. I post videos sometimes, and I have a podcast, Artists on Artists on Artists on Artists. And then I have an hour-long character comedy special that you could buy on Amazon.
We're not sure.
And Amazon, Apple, and you can watch it on select United flights. So look out for that. It's called Linda Hollywood's Big Night.
I do love seeing you repost a story where a friend has tagged you while they're on a flight of watching it, Linda Hollywood, or seeing it in the queue. And that always tickles me, but yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny who gets to be up there. It's very random that I'm up there.
Yes.
But it's a blast.
Well, I'll put a link to those in the show notes, but I'll just close us out with some plugs of my own. The cover art for Call Me By Your Game is done by Glenn J. You can find a link to his Instagram in the show notes. The show is produced, edited, and the original music up top is done by Jeremy Schmidt. If you want to thank him for his work on this podcast, you can go ahead and check out his Video Games, a Comedy Show, wherever you get your podcasts. It's more of a roundtable style goof-a-thon, if you will, about video games. We have all sorts of episodes, such as The Roast of Mario, or episodes where we just list everything wrong with each Legend of Zelda game. It's a ton of fun over there. You can follow Call Me By Your Game all over social media on Blue Sky, on Instagram, and even on YouTube. So if you prefer to watch wonderful people as opposed to listen to them, check us out on YouTube. You can watch this whole episode in video format. You can check out me on social media as well. My social handles are in the show notes. And then last but not least is our Patreon over at patreon.com/supernpcradio. Again, if you like listening to me talk about video games with people and you want more and you just can't get enough, check us out there. There's bonus stuff at every single tier that you can find, including our upcoming Death Stranding 2 Games Club, which I'm so excited for. There's a link to all that crap in the show notes. Thank you for listening to another episode of Call Me By Your Game. We will see you on the next one.